What's important to you right now when you're going out to do a listing?
We're in the BBL real estate right now. If you make good content, you could get clients. You never sold a house before, but you're really good at social media or technology, and you will be able to sell a house. People, they don't treat this like a business. They get into it for flexibility. This is not a business that you can do without learning.
For me, it was I want to do 100 deals. I want to do 100 deals. I want to do 100 deals, but I wasn't acting like an agent who was doing 100 deals. I wasn't doing the activities of an agent who was. And until I hired a coach who was like, so do you really want to do this? Because if you do, we got to change some things, right? That was the game changer for me.
Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Don't eat out one day. Don't go to lunch one day. Don't have Starbucks 3 days. And you can get the house you want.
The purchase price doesn't matter. The interest rate doesn't matter. Is this a payment that supports your life? That you can go on vacation, you can go out to eat, you can take care of your kids, you can send them to school, do everything and live your life by design, then this is what works.
So welcome to the very, very first episode of the Loan Lounge podcast that I'm starting. And I'm happy to have my friends real estate partners of 15 years joining me today. This isn't just like your traditional podcast, right? We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to talk about real estate, talk about mortgages, and
try not to get canceled.
Try not to get canceled. Exactly. And we're just going to help people that are maybe struggling or want to hear something that lightens their day in our business. So just to give you a little background on me since the first episode, I've been in the business since 2000, closed thousands of transactions, and I've done a lot of refinances in my beginning of my career. And when the market crashed, I quickly learned that I needed to transition to working with real estate partners. So that's going to be, one of the biggest things in establishing relationships that people, I think, should learn from these podcasts. So let's just jump right into it, guys. Let's start with you, Syria. How did you get into real estate?
I was pretty much born into it, honestly. I'm a third generation realtor. My family's been selling real estate in South Florida for over 40 years. And my aunt was my best friend growing up. And I really just wanted to go and hang out with her. I had no idea what it actually meant to be a realtor, be in real estate. I came in the summers during college to intern with her.
Yeah.
I bedazzled a stapler. I stamped some mailers, but
drank margaritas at lunch.
But really had no idea what it actually meant. To the point where my first day when I actually graduated, I said, okay, so what do I make per week? And she laughed in my face. And it's been amazing ever since then.
Oh my God. Matt, how'd you get into it?
Well, I remember Syria's days. Those were hilarious. As a kid, I went to open houses with my family, and then my dad had bought me a property in Orlando when I was at UCF. And he said, okay, you're coming home, sell it. So I was like, well, we used to entertain the ladies here for dinner and my friends over here in our 900 square foot townhouse. And I took 2 electives in my last degree, which was finance. Came home, did a job for 6 months, cold calling, said, I'll never do that again. And then said, hey, let's get into real estate.
Well, we'll get back to that because I know you cold call still in real estate a little bit. Come on.
And that was back. No, exactly. But I didn't want to do it. That's why I quit the other job. And that was in 2002. So a long time ago.
Ronnie, how did you get into this, man?
Funny story. My father told me to go and get my real estate license in 2007. What was going on with me was I graduated college and I got my GC license. So that was the plan for me. My father had built homes down here in the area for 30 years. We're building two projects in Coral Ridge on the water, which I was learning, getting my license, and the plan was to continue to do that. He said, go ahead and get your real estate license. You'll market the property, sell them for us moving forward. I said, I have no interest in being a real estate agent. I was dealing with the people as they were coming to show the houses and letting them in. And it just wasn't something that I liked. So long story short, the market went bust. That was in 2007. And that was the last project that my father ever did. He retired from construction at the time. So I had no choice. At that point, we got into flipping, and I did get my real estate license. And kind of once that market dried up in 2010 and 11 and 12, the deals just weren't there anymore the way that we wanted them to be. Started doing it full time.
Wow, what an interesting. You see, it's so crazy how everybody gets in such a different way.
Right.
And it's one thing that it's odd. You guys are all from different backgrounds, right? You guys didn't know each other prior. So how did you guys end up becoming friends, and how did you guys meet? I guess that's probably the question.
I met Syria when she came and wanted to go to lunch for margaritas. So that's
so clearly that's why we became friends.
Exactly. She would come home from college and sit on the bench. I had been with Lori since 2005. And then Syria came. What year was that again?
2010.
Yeah, 2010. So we went through 5 years of me working for Lori, and then it's like my niece is gonna come work for us during the summers, and she came.
Well, the summers I started in 2007.
2007. Yeah, she came full time 2010. So that's how we became friends. Renee came on the team, and at that point, it was like me and just a bunch of women, and it had always been that way. So I was like very territorial.
I met him at when I met with Lori at the interview.
I was like, I don't
He
like
brought
this guy.
in.
Definitely
He
didn't
was
like this.
loud, obnoxious, just like. And
I was protected. I was the
walked out,
bulldog.
I don't think this team's gonna be for me. And then, but in short order, we
And funny, I told her I don't think this is gonna be for him either. So,
To be clear, they both loved me from the beginning.
yeah, I love Syria.
Well, I sat next to Syria from
Yeah.
day one.
But she's one of my best girlfriends, and now he's one of my best guy friends. You know, so
You know, it's funny. So you're where you guys work. My first encounter was actually she sold me a property,
Yeah.
then sold my property, and obviously I wanted to go
Yeah.
after that business when the market crashed. And the first opportunity I got to win the business was an encounter with her,
yeah.
with Syria. And,
Another guy I didn't like when he showed up trying to hound us for business.
And I go and I rescue a closing for her where she's a listing agent. I get it done in like 8 or 9 days of a closing that wasn't going to happen. And she basically, I gave her my card, like, I said, hey, why don't you grab lunch sometime? She looked at my card, she put it in her purse, like, all right, thanks. And that was it.
Never heard.
And
of
I
that.
feel like she even looked at my card, it was like flimsy, and she was like, that's not even a nice card.
I probably threw it out on
Yeah.
the way out.
probably did. And I was like, this ungrateful agent.
Yeah.
I
The
was like,
funny thing
wow, I
was-
did not picture that going like that.
The funny thing was when people would come on our team to interview, they would let them interview with us. And we were just not very nice. This was like,
It was bad cop, bad
it
cop.
was bad cop, bad cop.
No good, huh?
Yeah. But if they survived that, we're like, all right, maybe they have a shot, you know?
I remember the first time I had Renee was I met you. We did an open house together. I remember
You were
I-
driving the black Beamer like
That
crazy,
Beamer,
picking
bro.
up open house signs.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm one of those guys that own the sign. This guy
Joey put in
signs
work.
out.
Get there and put
He
signs
still
out and
put
pick them
signs
up.
up last weekend.
Yeah.
It's just one of the things you got to do. You got to help
Right.
out.
The basics, man.
The basics, man.
Yeah.
I remember, and he's like, "Why do you do this on the weekends?" I'm like, "I like it. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. I enjoy that part of it. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it the everyday real estate part. I'm definitely seated in the mortgage game, but I enjoy doing open houses. I can't tell you how many people. Our first deal that we ever got together was an open house.
Yep.
And it was like a house that I never thought would sell, and is sold in like the same weekend.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you go there and if you're open to the idea and you work it, you do well.
Right.
And I think we talked about it this weekend. We're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, how many signs did you reach? She's like, you know me. So I got like 15 back there.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, because I didn't open one of my guys. You know, we've done opens where people come with like 2 or 3 signs,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Some people don't even put them out.
I mean, you're gonna make an effort. Like, if
Yeah.
you're gonna go there,
Right. You're going to spend the 2-3 hours.
I'm gonna take time away from my family. I'm going at
Exactly.
it. I'm going all in.
Right. Exactly.
We even made a social media video over it.
Yeah,
We're
it
gonna
was
be
great.
TikTok famous.
You got 3,000 views on it. I saw it
We're
too.
going. We're going,
Yeah.
bro. We're going.
Yeah.
I was gonna take my shirt off and try to make it
Nice.
even better, but you know, so that's awesome. So, you know, we all became pretty good friends.
Mhm.
I've been to all of your weddings. Well, yours was during COVID, so
Yeah.
unfortunately,
You were
that's
all
we came.
bridesmen in my wedding.
Yeah.
That was a
You should have
great.
seen them in heels. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was actually great. I got some great pictures, which I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna make
Cut
sure
that out.
that the producer gets the photo of all of us and
Yeah.
posing.
That's a
Yeah.
great picture.
That was a great
Yeah.
picture
That's
of
a
us.
great
I
picture.
think
Yeah.
my biggest memory from that wedding was getting ready with everybody after maybe 1 or 2 shots and trying to figure out how to do a bow tie.
Yeah, people had to do
Yes.
my
Do you
bow
remember
tie.
that?
Yeah.
I was sweating, trying
Yes.
to freak out,
Yep.
and I finally got it.
Yeah.
I
You know, you
wear-
practiced it.
I did. Now I
Yeah.
actually wear a bow tie. Every time I wear a tux, I'll do a bow tie now. I know how to do it. And I call people. I was like, is that a clip on?
Yep.
Oh,
Mine would be a clip on.
I got it now, though. That was a great time.
That was a great
We've had a
time.
lot of great memories together.
100%.
All right, so let's stop talking about our personal stuff because people want to get some value out of this, right?
Yeah, I guess that's important.
Just a little value. So let's start out with some numbers. So let's start with you, Matt. What was your best year in real estate?
It was kind of a progression. So like 17, 18, 19, me and I had one buyer agent at that time. We did 100 deals 3 years in a row.
Wow.
And it was just over 37 million in
This
2019.
was before the crazy property value spike.
Yeah. Honestly, I liked the market back then better because it just was more fluid, right?
Right.
And then 2020 came, COVID happened, and then sales just went down, you know? But yeah, 2019 was just over 37 million with one buyer agent.
Wow.
And
How
100, I think it was 102 deals.
about you, Syria?
My best year was actually in COVID in 2020. And I was able to do most of it from my couch, which was amazing.
Syria's
That's
dream.
my
Syria's
dream
dream.
life right there. I had one showing agent and we did 106 transactions that year. And my goal for years was to do 100. That's all, like that for me was like the pinnacle. I
Sure.
wanted to be able to say forever that I did it.
Yeah.
My long-term goal always was to become a coach. And I felt like that would always be something that I could say that I did. And I did it. I'm a coach now, and I never want to do 100 transactions again. That's what it taught me.
And the thing is, and we also would go to these events where the people on stage would speak, but they weren't really the ones doing it. So for us to hit 100, sales,
It's not easy.
and we did it, over a few year period where we just got to those numbers, and it's a lot of work, but it was amazing to do it.
Ronnie, how about you? What was your best year?
My best numbers, I was consistently, I would say, anywhere from 45 to 55 deals.
Solo agent, no
Solo agent,
Solid.
no showing assistant, nothing. North of 20 million, pretty consistently.
That's
The bank
really difficult for people to do solo agent. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys all have different skill sets, right? We all have our different skill sets. I know working with all you guys all have your own way of handling buyers, handling listing agents. So the way that we work our business is different. And I know, like, for example, at one point you were Syria, like the dream buyer specialist. And now we just had a conversation over the weekend where you're like, I like the listings, I like the buyers, but I like to do quality over quantity.
100%.
And so what was that? Where'd you see that shift? When did that shift happen for you?
I think backing it up to when I made the decision to be a buyer specialist, when no one else wanted to do that, I saw an opportunity, right? I saw that everywhere you went, they were teaching those who list last. In order to be successful, you had to be a listing agent. And I was like, you know what? If I can prove to people that you can do it as a buyer's agent, I can stand out, and I can use that as a platform later on in my business. So for the first 5 to 7 years of my business, I referred every listing to Matt. I didn't take one. I referred every single one out. Everyone was like, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? Why would you give people to him? No. But
I remember
for
that
me,
because
it
I
was the
remember he
best
would
thing
call,
I
hey,
ever
this is
did.
Syria's listing. They're buying with you. And
Yeah.
we might have a buyer for you to work with as well.
it was the best thing I ever did, because I believed that the best listing agents were great buyer's agents first, because they learned what terrible listing agents were like, right? And so I used that as an opportunity to learn. And then naturally, for all agents, after 5 to 7 years is when your listing business starts to grow, because your initial buyers start to sell. So when my past clients became sellers is when I started going to sellers. Now at this point, I'm heavier on seller side than buyer side, but I work all of it at this point.
Matt, I know you're listing heavy. You've always been.
It was the same thing. So the team that we're on, we all learned on the buyer side, right? And we all say the same thing. You have to be a great buyer agent to be a great listing agent, because you get into the psychology of the way buyers are thinking versus just what the seller wants, because it's a give and take. You have to know what that buyer might be going through something. It might be a first-time home buyer, got to hold their hand. But yeah, the first bunch of years I was strictly on the buyer side. Lori, who we work for, I would go with her. And I always say I got trained by Michael Jordan. I probably went to 400 or 500 appointments with her, learned how she talked to people on the listing side. And one day there was just 2 appointments and she couldn't go to both. She goes, you go to one. I said, I got this. Came back in. She got her listing. I got my listing. And then at that point, I pretty much was a listing agent.
And Ronnie, you started on the listing side?
No,
You
buyer
started
side.
buyer side as well?
I was his trainer.
Oh.
And I trained her. Lori will take credit, but I trained her.
All my bad habits came from Matt.
So do you feel the same way, like what Matt says?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I was blessed enough to work on the buyer side. I think it was a blessing because what them two said, you have to get into the psyche of the buyer. Even nowadays, there's buyers are on the fence, right? They're worried, is now the right time to buy, even if they're under contract. I mean, fallout is a big thing right now. So I think that one of the challenges for me is I love listings. Last year in my business, I mean, I probably did 90% listings, limited buyers. So I wish it would be more buyer heavy. Most of my buyers is just stuff that comes to me, like, friends, family, referrals, things of that nature. But I think starting out on the buyer side and continuing that piece of business is important. But yeah, for me, I like listings. I like it.
It's incredible. You guys are, I have to say, probably your success is also because you can do both sides. So when the market shifts, you guys know how to shift with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like you guys know, okay, right now we are in I think still we're in a buyer's market.
For sure.
We're definitely not at that COVID market.
Right.
And we're not in the fluid market that you talked about,
Right.
2017, 18. Because I do agree with you. 2016, 17, 18, that was a nice time.
Yeah.
It was.
So think about it.
was
After the
50-50. It was
foreclosures,
nice.
after short sales, the market kind of settled, and then Yeah.
So, and then buyers could put an offer in.
Right.
I got have to worry about multiple offers like what happened afterwards.
Yep.
You negotiated, sellers would listen.
Yep.
Now sellers have to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you mentioned cancellations, I'm noticing that they'll go under contract right now in this buyer's market.
Yeah.
Something else will pop up during their inspection period.
Oh, yeah.
And they won't even do the inspection. They'll
Yeah.
just back out.
They'll back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be like, no, I want to do this one instead.
Yep.
Or you'll get a counter offer going, and then they just disappear.
They're gone.
Yeah. It's so, that's crazy to me because that's just a market you have to learn how to work in. So what's your piece of advice for people? Like right now, let's talk about that. Working in this market. It's you guys, especially you're now more listing heavy. Would you say you're listing heavy now?
Yeah.
Yes, you guys are all listed. So this is great actually for any listing agents. What's working for you right now in this market? What's important to you right now when you're going out to do a listing? How are you prepping your sellers for this encounter? Because it really is an encounter, right? You don't know what you're going to get.
So for me, like I'm very old school. I'm not coming with a formal presentation and clicking through slides. Like I'm there to connect with them. They want to be heard. They want to know that someone knows what their struggle is, what their problem is, what their goal is there. And so I'm there to make a relationship. I'm there to ask questions. Honestly, and I probably get flack for this, I don't even bring listing paperwork on the first appointment because I want to show them I'm here for you and to hear what you're looking for. Can they sign it on my computer at the end of the appointment? Sure. But I feel a lot of times that when they see that paperwork, it puts a wall up. So when I show up as just me, just to have a conversation, I feel like psychologically I'm able to break down their walls a lot faster. And so I'm just coming there with concrete data. I'm there to show you what is going on with the market, right? Like I don't want to tell you, I want to show you. This is show and tell. I'm going to show you data so that you can see what is actually going on and what has to happen to get your home sold. I'm not there to tell you what you want to hear. If that's what you want, you can call 1,000 other agents. I'm here to tell you the reality of what's going on with fallout, with everything, so that sometimes maybe it's going to take 2 times selling your home to get us there. But if I don't tell you that and that happens, you're going to be disappointed because you weren't prepared for that.
Yeah. I love how you
it's-
said you don't come with a bunch of things. And I think that's intimidating sometimes for some people. Everybody's a little different.
Yeah.
And some people, I feel like if they want that, they're going to ask you about all your shiny toys, right?
And we
In the
can
toy
show
box.
them. Look, I've done it. I brought the whole presentation on the iPad and everything. But what I found was that I wasn't connecting enough because I was so worried. Did I skip a slide? Are you looking at this? Am I looking at this? And certain people, they're all in. They want to look at it.
Right.
But most people, they don't. They're like, okay, how much longer is this presentation? How long are you going to go talk about you? Right? I want to talk about them. And then I can hear what are they looking for? What are their problems? And then I can show them how I'm the solution.
How about you, Matt? What are you doing? And what are you doing differently?
I think having done this for so long, like we've been through everything you possibly can go through, right? So like it's all about preparation ahead of time, looking at the trends, where are they going, where are we coming from, how many listings are actually on the market, right? Because someone will come and they'll just say, this is what's happening in your neighborhood. But in Plantation, there could be 55 properties on the market, and that's all your competition, right? Because some people are going to buy for value. Some people are going to buy to do the least amount of work.
Yep.
Some people need schools. Some people need space. So there's buyer for everything, right? So for me, I'm preparing ahead of time. And like Syria said, we used to bring this book, right? And what I found out is I was actually losing those listings because I wasn't asking questions. So I'm sitting there, and I learned this when I started, is you have to ask questions because you want them to talk. You also then have to provide them information and show it to them so they can self-discover, right? So if I come in and I just say, your house is worth 500 and they think it's worth 600, that's going to be a very short listing presentation, right? So I'm sitting there with them, I'm asking questions. And in the MySpace days, right, showing my age, I used to call it spy spacing, right? Because we all spy on everybody's pages, right? We spy on their Facebook, we spy on their Instagram. I do that now still. I'm trying to see how I can walk in there and build rapport before we even know each other, right? Maybe they know one of my friends. Maybe they like basketball. Maybe they went skiing. Yeah, I went skiing back in 20 years ago,
1925.
Right, when Jesus and Moses were skiing together as buddies, like I was skiing. So I'm trying to build rapport because I think people that like and trust you, those are the people that I want to do business with. So sometimes now, like if I know it's going to be difficult going into it, I might not want that listing. Before I would take everything. Now, some of those are just big hassles. If it's a hassle from the beginning, it's a hassle all the way through.
You know, one thing I'll say, you guys have similar styles.
Yes.
Probably maybe because
I
you
trained
trained
her.
her, right? So you guys got, Renee's got a different, I feel
Well, we're
it's
like
different
twins.
style.
We
You
always
train
say
her.
we're like boy
We're
and girl
twin
versions of
flames.
each other.
There,
Yeah.
I believe that. He's got a very
Unfortunately
mellow,
for our wives.
he's got a very mellow, like
Yes.
doesn't lose his cool,
Polished.
gain his
Yes.
cool.
We know
It-
he's
it's-
polished. We're not.
Yes,
We
right.
get it.
Yes.
So what do you do? Because I know you get in front of
Ashy,
people.
classy, you know?
The two biggest things for me is one, I'm very analytical. So I'm gonna know inside and out what's been done to the home, the competing homes, and the homes that have closed. So I know exactly what I'm looking at when I get there.
Right.
Secondly, I think what gets lost on a lot of people when they take listings is buyers, they're looking, it's a happy time to them, right? They're looking, it's cool, it's what we all they can see their kids playing in the backyard, the dog is a fence, what have you. Sellers, it's either going to be, for the most part, it's going to be a death, a divorce, a job relocation, a downsizing where they've been in the home for 25 years and it's an emotional thing, right? Because they're moving out of the home where they raise a family. So I think going into that knowing, and to piggyback off them, I'm seeing, okay, what is their situation, and then connecting with them on that level, whatever that is, right? Because yeah, the marketing and all that stuff, we have that with the reviews, everything, we can show them that. And I like to send that to them up front because obviously they need to see the brand and what we do. But connecting with them on that, and then with value, because I've been on appointments and I know they have 100 times where they already have their agent picked and they just want value.
They want your
our
price. They want our price, right?
And that's fine. And maybe if they don't sell the home, they'll call me afterwards. That's fine. But for me, it's more collaborative because I used to give pricing like the old CMAs. They used to have a price at the end, right? It'd say, okay, it's worth $650, and then you'd leave that with them,
Right.
and then you never get a call back because you left it with them. So for me, it's okay. This is, and then getting an idea where do they think their home sits in today's market, and enlightening them as to what it is. Like today, it's a buyer's market. If they're just looking in a certain, like I have a listing right now, it's got ocean access. The seller, they thought it was just in that pocket where any buyer is going to be looking. They weren't really familiar with Broward, even though they lived in the house. They didn't know there's pockets of Plantation that have ocean access.
There is.
Pompano that has ocean access. I'm not talking like mega ocean access, like
Yeah,
out of
canal.
this ocean access canal.
Right.
Dania has pockets. So
House Point, there's a lot.
there's a lot. So it's just really opening their mind to that. But for me, it's just seeing where they're coming from. If you're not building rapport and understanding their situation, you're never going to be able to push that deal down the line. They're not going to listen to you.
Yeah. And you also, like, from an agent perspective, like everybody listing, right? Listing, list to last. Unless it's 2006 or COVID and the seller's making money hand over fist. Right.
Yeah.
That's not real listing, right? Having homes sitting on the market now for 90 days, 120 days, having to have those conversations with your client every day, having to have real conversations on stuff that they're not really going to want to hear. That's when you become a real listing agent, because those hot markets where you just put the house up and you have 100 offers on it, that's not real. So you have to be in the psychology of being strong enough to like go at it with your client sometimes by asking questions, showing them like, look, I get it. We've been on the market. We had 50 people come through the door. But if you were one of those people that came through the door and you didn't offer on that house, there was something about it, whether it was the price, it needed work, too much work to be done, whatever the case may be. Sellers only see the bottom line. They don't see that, okay, well, we had this many people come in. That's not happening at this price. You have to be strong enough to be able to explain to them why and get them to understand that. In a hot market, you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest conversations, and one I want to hear how you guys handle it. The hardest conversation to have with someone is when you take a listing, sits on the market for a couple of weeks, no action. How do you get the price reduction? And I think a lot of agents struggle with that, right? It's one of those things. I know how I would do it. Probably not the easiest way, and I'd probably get fired right away. But you guys are doing it. I see price reductions happening. I see that happening. I'm curious, like, how's that conversation go?
It's upfront, right? So like a lot of times I say, look, this is what I'm telling you. This is my professional opinion. We've showed it. You even said it yourself. You want to start at this price? That's fine. But if we go 2 weeks on the market and we have 0 showings, the market's speaking to you.
So you're
Either
talking about
zero
that
showings
up front.
or no offers.
Right, or a ton of showings.
Yeah, and no offers, right? So like I'm already premeditating that with them, like to let them know, like, look, if it's not happening then, your biggest window is the beginning. The longer it sits on the market, unless something magical happens where someone in your neighborhood just sells for so much, like out of the blue, your home is going down every day you're on the market. It's not going up, right? So we're trying to capture that buyer in the beginning. So I'm having those conversations with them, like, look, the hottest time is going to be these first 30 days, really the first 2 weeks. And if we're not getting those numbers, we have to make a decision. this is what I believe we need to do, you know?
And it's funny you say that because I recently sold one of my properties up out of the area. And I hang out with you guys so much and I know so much. Like I called her to do a price reduction. And I was like, it's been 2 weeks and we haven't got an offer.
Yeah.
I'm like, should we drop the price? She's like, can we give it another week? She's like, it's just holiday time or whatever. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll give it another week. I'm like that dream client that asks for the price reduction that doesn't, but that's just because I have a great understanding. I've
Right.
heard so many conversations.
And people don't sell their house that often. Like
Right.
how many houses do people actually sell or buy, you know? So they don't know. And now we have Chat GPT. So I call them the Chat GPT generation, where they get all their information from there, you know?
I hope people understand it's open AI. That means it's getting information from people as well. So a lot of that information is not real.
Yeah. There's
Um,
benefits, but like it's not the be all end all, you know? But a lot of
yeah.
buyers and sellers go by that, you know?
For me, it's providing feedback direct from the buyer. The consumer is the biggest feedback. If there's no showings, I tell them, Mr. Seller, I have 3,000 views on Zillow. You have 2 saves. Nobody showed up
Right.
in 2 weeks. What's that saying? We're getting eyes on the property digitally, doing great. It's just not resonating. So it's either the price is wrong in their eyes or the product doesn't match. So which one is it? So if you get buyers in the door, which I like to do through open houses, especially at the beginning, then you actually get eyes on it and you can take that feedback back. You have to get eyes on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough conversation to have with people, but you have to do it. You know, it's,
I mean, yeah, especially if they're agents who came during COVID, they're like, had never done a price reduction. They didn't even know what a price reduction was, you know?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
they had to learn a whole new skill set.
So in this market, we're all working in now buyer's market, which is great. What do you think right now? You know, you guys deal with both sides, right? You guys are getting
Yep.
offers, you're getting this. What's like the one piece of advice you can give an agent to help them win in this market? Because I know that you guys encounter a lot of different things. So it's something that maybe you're encountering a lot or something you think is not really helping out the situation. I know for me, one of the biggest things that I see from, because I'm a third party in the negotiation, right? I'm overseeing that side of it. And I see like, for some reason, there's always like a buyer and a listing agent, a buyer's agent, and they can never like meet on terms. I feel like it's always a fight. It's like the goal is to try to get the person into the home and the person sold on their home. Why can't they work together? And I feel like they got their wall up so high trying to look cool in front of their client. And it ends up hurting everybody.
It's hero mentality, right?
Yep.
One time I was negotiating, this was when $1 million property was a lot, right? And I came back into the office. I told Lori, I got them a $5,000, I negotiated them to not have to give a $5,000 credit. It was something along those. She goes, okay, well, what if you would have lost the deal? These people are millionaires. Do you think they cared about 5,000? They cared about you getting them what they wanted for their house and not trying to be a hero. So I think too many realtors, they want to beat the other realtor, and we need to be collaborative to try to get to the closing table. Like with you, I try to offer people your services all the time because I see their DU, I see the rates are so high. I run it by you, you're like, man, I could beat this by like 0.5%. But people don't trust the other realtor because they think it's like a battle, right? Versus like we're on the same team to get to the closing table.
That's probably the best way to say it. They battle. I don't know why. I don't.
And I did that. When you're in the beginning of your career, you want to try to win, right? And winning is getting to the closing table, not maybe getting your client a $5,000 off of the price, which is 10 cents in their payment.
Yeah. How nice and refreshing is it when you get an offer on a listing from an agent you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be like the best feeling because.
Well, when I started, it wasn't this big social media thing. You go to the brokers opens, you go to the open houses, you meet them. So now you know who you're talking to when you're on the other side of the phone.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. I got a screenshot text today from an agent that I've worked with for a long time. She sent me a screenshot of another agent who I'm doing a deal with who texted her and was like, I'm doing a deal with Syria Finkelstein. I feel like I can breathe, you know, like, and to have that type of reputation is huge. Like for people to know, like, okay, if I'm going to do it with her, she's a deal maker. She's not a deal breaker.
You know, a deal makers for sure, and getting into the closing table.
Right.
I think that's one of the biggest things that happens in this market. People are not educating the buyer side enough or the seller side enough, or they're missing things. And, you know, for a condo, for example, which is one of our crazy markets, you guys are listing condos. You guys are sending me, hey, how does this look? Am I going to be able to finance this thing? How am I putting this out on the market on the MLS?
I think go ahead.
That was what I was going to touch on. Education is the biggest thing because this market is ever changing. Now, not only have to be a real estate agent, get the business, negotiate the deals, etc., You have to navigate 4-point inspections, insurance.
Yeah.
That's a big.
Yeah, we're in an aging market here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to know lending. You have to be partnered with somebody like yourself that can look at the budgets and everything in master insurance policy. Make sure what you can and can't do beforehand. You have to get your hands on all these docs. Know how to convey the docs.
You got to know a little bit
I mean,
about insurance. You guys are helping these people get
No.
insurance in a tough market.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to know a little bit about everything, and also keep the deal together, because it's all these deals. You've got HOA application. What's that look like? You've got your inspection period. You have to set your sellers up for what could happen during that
Yeah.
inspection
Yep.
period.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's not just it's not just the inspection, the appraisal, the HOA is a big deal,
Right.
you know?
right.
But I think a lot of agents, we learn every day. We have classes every single day. We've been learning constantly. Her grandma was in the business way longer than all of us. And at her age, she was still going to classes and learning. So for me, I always took that like, she's been doing this for 40 years. Why am I not still learning? Right.
That was a big change I made
Yeah.
in my career 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I just talked to Lori, had to see with Lori one day, and Lori was like, "Where do you see yourself in 10 years?" And I was like, "I'm doing great. And I see myself right here." And
Yeah.
she's like, "Really? That's it?"
Yeah.
And she gave me like a spanking, basically.
Right.
Like, you come this far and this is where you're stopping. She's
Yeah.
like, "I see so much more in you."
Yeah.
And she's like, and I started looking, your ego gets in your way.
Look, what?
And if your ego gets in your way, you won't open yourself up to learn so much.
Yeah.
And I'm at every conference possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I love going to conferences. I pick something up. I go to real estate conferences. I do mortgages.
Yeah. Right.
I think Jeff
You've-
Glover's
you've
conference
always
I went
been-
to was great. I
Yeah.
love
And you've
going to
always been
conferences.
learning based. You always used to come with us. But what was the
That was
percent?
fun too. I went with you guys for fun.
Yeah, we
more
had a
than
lot of
anything.
fun.
We had a lot of fun at all those
Yeah.
conferences.
But what
The
was the
Boomtown conference was one for the record.
Yes, hilarious. But what's the percentage again of how many realtors didn't sell a property last year?
Oh, it was wild.
Like
70?
some crazy number, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, people, they don't treat this like a business. They get into it for flexibility, right? We've all heard that. Or they're part-time realtors, or they go to a company that offers them 100% commission with no learning. This is not a business that you can do without learning.
Yeah.
Because number one, you're going to get arrested. You're going to do something ridiculous. You're going to screw your client over. You're going to have a lawsuit. So you have to learn in this business. And it's changing. Like you told us a few months ago, this is what the condo rules are. Now you just came out with something that the condo rules are changing in January or August, and then in January again. So
It's always
like,
changing.
if you go work at a company and you don't know anything about this, like we're training on the new forms. We're training on how to read the contract. We're training on what it is, like everything possible. And agents don't do that.
Yeah, do you know? Imagine how many clients we see that they try to buy a condo, they go in an agent that's inexperienced,
For FHA or something.
something crazy. They get, and both sides are not great. Sometimes I'm experienced. The buyer literally goes, applies for the condo association, does the home inspection,
Waste all that money.
waits all like does an
Yeah.
appraisal, and then they come to me like, "Hey, this loan got turned around. Can you help?" I'm like, "Just couldn't be financed ever
Right.
for this reason." And then you think that client's ever going to buy with that person?
Of
No.
course not.
You know. So that leads me to this: and new agent or inexperienced agent or somebody that's maybe doing it part time that wants to go to full time. Would you suggest that working in a team is the best route rather than working on an island? Or what would you suggest if you were a brand new agent starting from scratch today, or a rookie agent, you're only doing 10 deals a year and you really want to grow your business to become a Matt Liner, become a Ronnie or a Syria? What would you tell that new agent to do?
I mean, I think it depends on the agent. You know, I'm someone who grew up on sports teams and I thrived in that type of environment. So for me, being able to collaborate with people and have people who are your competition, but also your cheerleader, for me was always the best. I wouldn't have been able to be as successful on my own. I firmly believe that. Now, there's some people who they thrive in that manner. I think that if you're either way, you need a mentor, whether it's somebody on your team, if you're a solo agent, someone in your office, whatever that is, you need someone who you can pick up the phone and call, right? Someone who's going to be able to help make sure that you're on the right path, that if you have a question, you have someone to answer. I don't think there's one way to do it, right? There's plenty of people who've started as solo agents and they were successful. Plenty of people who started on teams and then became solo agents. So there isn't one path. It's figuring out where you believe you're going to work at your best.
What about you, Matt? What do you think?
It starts with learning. I would go interview with a bunch of different companies and I'd find out which one has the best learning, right? Whether it's this one or that one, whoever you connect with. And then I would constantly be learning. I'd constantly be in classes. I'd constantly be going to events. And then I'd make sure I have like a 3-month cushion, because in real estate, unless your parents have a lot of friends with a lot of money and they're going to trust you right off the bat, it takes a while to get up and running.
Yep.
I think today's day and age, agents can move way quicker because of the internet, because of social media.
Yeah.
And you could get a start way earlier than you could have
You
before.
can communicate faster with your real estate agent
Yes.
today than you could 10 years ago.
Yeah. But even with that, people don't like, they'll be like, oh, I know all these people. They won't pick up the phone and call them. They're afraid to call them. So I'd learn, and then I'd get right on the phones. Because if you don't get right on the phones, you have no business. You're just not going to have any business, you know?
You got those people that have just been preparing
Yeah.
to get on the phone,
Yeah.
preparing to prepare, and they don't jump in ever.
Yeah, but like seriously, like all my best friends I've had for 30 plus years, you know, I like being on a team. There's some people, but I like the camaraderie of it. Not that I
Yeah.
feel like I can't do it by myself, but some people, they need to feel like they did it on their own. So that's what they do.
I mean,
you know?
I'm like, for me, I can't work from home. I have to be I have to be with people. If I'm at home or I'm a solo person, I'm not working.
yeah,
I'm doing things around my house.
yeah.
I'm organizing the garage. I'm outside pulling weeds. I'm working on my sprinklers. Like, I am so distracted that I need to have a place to go to work and do my thing.
Yeah, we differ on this. Like, I miss us being in the office every day. I thought that's one of the worst things that happened during COVID. Syria loves it, you know? And me, like, I used to just love, but it's,
Just
I
seeing everybody.
loved when, like,
him talk, literally, we'll talk every day.
every day, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
And we're neighbors, so, like, we
We-
talk every day,
We
too.
pick up the phone. We call. Like, I know what's going on.
I'm like, what's up with your
For the most
deals?
part.
Right.
Yeah. So what would you say to an agent? Did you
I
start
s-
on the team right off the bat? Like, you got your license?
I was with Keller Williams prior with the stuff that I was doing.
Gotcha.
Flips and stuff. But I think knowing your market to me is like, I grew up down here. So even when I first started though, I didn't really know the market. I wasn't in the market daily. So I think studying the MLS, knowing the market, because if you're going to get in real estate, the first question everybody's going to ask you is, how's the market? How's this area? How's my neighborhood doing? So knowing the market, and then I would say after that, it's got to be in it like 100%.
Yeah.
Because you see so much turnover, so many people, and it's unfortunate. They come in, they try, and they leave. And I understand, to Matt's point, you probably have to have a cushion, because just to get
We don't have a
cli-
salary, right?
just to get a client, I was telling somebody this yesterday, just to get a client, get them under contract, and then navigate every contingency and close, you're looking probably 3 months out at a minimum. In today's market, if it's a listing,
Maybe 4 or
maybe
5
longer.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started, it was short sale city.
Yeah.
You were lucky if you were
Right.
closing within
In
6
a year,
months. You
right.
know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you were stacking your pipeline.
Yeah.
My first deal was almost a mobile home
Yeah.
that was a short sale. He really wanted it to be my first deal, but it wasn't.
But yeah, I think, and if you're able to, getting young, I think once, and not to discourage anybody, but I think once you're probably married and have kids, and then you're just jumping into it new, like I'm 42, it could be a little bit more difficult. I mean, you have to produce at that point.
I think
Like,
that's a huge point, because we're all at a level now. We're all, have families, kids, and actually my kids are going to be out finally soon. So I'll be an empty nester before all you guys. And, it's nice if you don't have your full-time effort. Like, if I didn't have my wife at home to support me, there's no way I could have gotten to where I am. No shot. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You need to dedicate like everything to this, night and day. I mean,
Yeah.
weekends. I mean, I can't. We were just talking about, I haven't done open house in a while. We just did one for a past client, and because where I am in my career. But before that, there was like a 10-year span there that I did open house every
Yeah.
weekend. I would take
Yep.
1 weekend off.
It's
Every week, and twilight open houses during the
Yeah.
week. And I remember even getting driven to them when I was in my little situation. I got driven to open
Yeah.
houses before I hurt
But
my,
it's
when I hurt my leg.
situation.
real estate.
When I hurt
like,
my leg.
yeah. You get the realtors like, cut off the time that you don't talk to people, right? Like after 5, I don't return calls to the next. I hate those messages. It's 24/7. I say this all the time because my clients are like, you're always available. I can always text you. I say, it's like the mafia. This is the life we have chosen. Like if you're in, you're all the way in.
Actually,
Yeah.
they're available. So
Yeah.
after they're
Right.
available,
Right.
so they're calling you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I tell my clients if I'm awake, I'll respond. I'm like, so just text me.
Yeah.
If it's 9:30 and
Yeah.
you're gonna lose sleep over something, just shoot me a text. I'll most likely
Yeah.
respond. So I don't want you to lose sleep over
Right.
a minor
Right.
question.
Yeah.
I mean, on my first date with my wife, I said to her, look, I need you to know my phone is a cash register. If it
ATM
rings,
machine
I
for
have
me.
to answer it.
Yep.
If that's going to be an issue, this can be our last time seeing each other, And so it was, again, like I do with my clients, I set the expectation up front.
Yeah.
Does it drive her crazy? I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially on vacations. Like it's nonstop. But
So right now, one of the big focuses that everybody's on is the interest rates.
Yeah.
And we had this year a wild ride because we had the
yeah.
lowest
Lowest
rates,
in 3 years.
the lowest in 3
Yeah.
years, and now we're back at the highest
Yeah.
in over 15 months, I believe.
Yeah.
Now.
But even so, from the lowest to now, how long has it been since you were like, I can get people locked in under 6%?
in 40 days.
40 days.
35
But
days.
that's how quick it changed. So
It changes.
if people are always going to wait, right? They're going to wait to time it. Like look what just happened in 40 days. You could have got in at a low rate, which is actually historically one of the lower rates ever. Anything under 6% is historically
Absolutely.
a great rate. And you could have got in, negotiated the price, negotiated the inspections, got a great deal, and now you waited, right? Because, I'm going to wait till they come down. 40 days later, they're what, up 1.5 points or a point at least, if not more than that.
Almost a point ahead of, yeah. It's wild, and people don't realize. So are people focusing too much on rate right now?
Always.
Like, are buyers
Whether
focused
they're
too much
low
on
or
rate?
they're high. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that we've always preached, right? I was super buyer heavy. It was always, all that matters is your monthly payment.
Right, exactly.
None of it else, nothing else matters. The purchase price doesn't matter. The interest rate doesn't matter. Is this a payment that supports your life? That you can go on vacation, you can go out to eat, you can take care of your kids, you can send them to school, do everything and live your life by design, then this is what works.
Yeah.
Could the interest rates go down in the future and you could do a refinance? Sure. Yes, that's amazing. But don't focus on that. Like, let's get the payment that works for you and everything else.
And there's
falls
so
in
many
line.
ways and so many things that you to get somebody to that payment. Right. Seller credit, buy down the rate. There's
Yep.
so much you can
Yeah.
do nowadays.
Mhm.
And people don't see that, and I feel like they're waiting for this perfect opportunity. And there's no perfect time to buy.
It's the same thing with the price, right? So like you could be 20 or 30 grand off, right? And the buyer's so focused on getting it for this 550 instead of 570 or 80, when it's 20 or 30, 40 bucks more in their payment, right?
Yeah.
Don't eat out one day. Don't go to lunch one day. Don't have Starbucks 3 days. And you can get the house you want, right?
How
But
many
people don't look
have
at
you
it.
sold a house to that have bought the house and they're like, I wish I would have bought a bigger home.
Yeah.
I wish I
All the
would have
time.
spent a little more like you told me.
I tell
We used to
people
have
all
that-
the time to just put, because you're going to be locked in there and you're not going to be, it's going to be tougher to move.
I mean, the amount of times we've had that conversation with young buyers, like, look, you are at the time of your life where your earnings are going to continue to increase. If you're going to stretch yourself, this is the time to do
Yep.
it, because over the next few years, that payment's going to be easy. But if you don't do it now, and in a few years, you want to move up or get a bigger house, now prices are higher, interest rates are higher, and you're going to be kicking yourself.
Yep.
I'm not going to have that same conversation with someone who's coming to me who's in their 70s.
Or people that realize it in a year and they want to sell. Like, you can't sell in a year.
Yeah,
It's
you're gonna
not
lose
gonna
money.
happen. You're gonna
Yeah.
lose money. You're gonna buy it. You're
Yeah.
gonna try to sell it in a year. You're gonna lose money.
Yeah. But one of the smartest things, Joey, again, not a realtor, he's realtor adjacent, right? He's probably better than most realtors out there. Was like, look at Broward County Property Appraiser and look at the prices for homes, right? And I'm looking directly because I want you guys to hear this. In 1970, the house was this. In 1980, it was this. In 1990, it was this. In 2000. Other than in 2008, when the market crashed, if you look at the history, it always is up, right? And we heard this the other day. They said, don't wait to buy real estate, right?
Buy real
buy
estate.
real estate and wait, because we don't have any more land to build down here. And people come to Florida by the thousands. Like every month, every week, they're coming by the thousands here. So stop getting focused on these like things that you feel like I have to get it at this number or I have to get it at this rate, because you could have been in that house not paying rent for the last 2 years and had equity and been in a way better position.
How many people in 2018 and 19 were waiting and waiting and waiting? Then COVID came.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And
oh
they
my
didn't, they
God.
couldn't even buy. They're still
Yeah,
renting.
Why did I wait?
Yeah.
People have waited since COVID that
Yeah.
are still looking now.
Yeah. They weight themselves into
You know
rent,
what the problem
staying
is,
the
too,
rent.
is a lot of people also don't listen to like you or me
Yeah.
or professionals that are in the market.
Yeah.
They read headlines.
Yeah.
So like there was a headline today, so I saw Tampa is losing property. You're upside down if you bought last year in Tampa, which
Right.
is that's true anywhere. If you bought with
Right, in
3%
one
down
year, yeah.
in 1 year, and you have to sell,
Yeah.
you have to pay real estate commission,
Right.
You have to pay capital gain tax. Yeah, you're upside down. Absolutely, that doesn't matter where you bought.
Yeah.
So like, people just read the headline
Yeah.
and they don't really know. And real
But they
estate
also
to me-
don't work with a strong agent, right? They'll work with whoever and they're not getting good guidance. Like this is one of the biggest financial purchases or sales for anybody, right? And they just don't, they'll go listen to the news and not the professional that they actually hired.
Actually, this is a question.
Or
I
they'll
have.
listen to their neighbor whose house has been on the market for 2 years.
For anybody out there that's actually listening to this is maybe going to buy or sell one day, what would you, as a realtor, what would you have them ask when they're interviewing an agent to hire?
Yep.
What do you think is a good question?
How many homes have you sold, right? How that's what I would ask them. When's the last time you sold a house, right? What happened for your buy? What happened with the last person you worked with? I'll give them a list of all the people I've worked with recently and say, here you go, call them. But they don't. They go, I call this and I'll probably get flack for this, but we're in the BBL real estate right now. You make good content, you could get clients. You never sold a house before, but you're really good at social media or technology, and you will be able to sell a house. The experience is not going to be the same. They're not going to know how to negotiate. You know, you're going through it the first time they're going through it. So you have to do your research and hire. And I would have just talked to one realtor. I talked to a bunch until you get a good fit. Yeah. But I think people just go by, well, my friend used this person, which great, because I get a lot of referrals that way, but I've also been doing it a long time. But you have to know that realtor knows what they're doing.
Why the perception, it's a frustration of mine, why the perception of our industry is that
car sales
all the same.
Yeah.
It couldn't be further than the truth. All you have to do is do a deal with somebody who probably hasn't done deals before or just isn't educated in it, and then do a deal with a savvy agent, and you're going to see it's night and day. And to Matt's point, it's your biggest purchase. Like, I don't get, whoever manages my retirement account, I vetted multiple people.
Oh yeah.
And let alone my home.
Well, and I think if you ask people right now, how was their last experience? A majority of them will say was horrible because they didn't do the research before they hired somebody.
All right, so this one's a little bit of a question I just am going to ask for myself, I guess. Right? So
I'm the prettiest one in the room, if that's what you were going to ask.
So how important is it to work with a lender? Obviously, you guys all work with me. It's been a long time, man, 15 years. So what do you think? What's the biggest thing you take away from that?
I mean, for me, I would say that of all relationships that I've built in my 15 years, that was the most important one. The amount that I've learned from him, the amount of deals that we've done together, the amount of my clients that like they relate real estate to Syria and Joey. Like we were a package deal. Like I knew that if I was referring someone to you, they were getting that red carpet rolled out. They were going to be taken care of. They were going to get the best rate. Like there's very few professionals. I honestly don't know if I could think of even one more that I could confidently say, you're in the best hands. Any other industry, I give them at least 5 people because I don't want my name on it. But I know if I'm giving them to you, like it's as if I was handling them.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
They're there. They're not falling, but they're there.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, it's the same for me. Like I have done a lot of deals with you, not as many as Syria because I've been more on the listing side. But it's like
you've won me a lot of relationships.
Yes, because like I want everybody to have a great experience. So when the buyer and the agent are on my end and I'm showing it to them and I know they're going to make an offer, I'll say, listen, I'm sure you have who you want to use. I'm like, I have a great lender. He'll get us to the closing table. He'll get these timelines done so quickly that your client does not have to stress the rest of the way through. So it's like we're going to war together, right? Like I'll have you next to me any day of the week and put you up against any other lenders. And I say it all the time. There might be 5 to 6 lenders in our area that I feel like are solid, right? And you're at the top of the pack. And it's just because we care so much and you care so much. And that's the thing. We want you to have a great experience that you're telling everybody about us. And some realtors, like they'll go to a lender because maybe they're getting something back from them, which you're not supposed to do. We go because I know you're going to get the deal closed in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of stress.
Yeah. And I think also too, that's number one, giving them that experience makes them come back. Giving them that flawless experience makes them call you back. Hey, who was that guy? Or sometimes they'll remember you. They won't remember you, but you'll connect them, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And the amount of relationships you've gotten me over the years just from a listing.
And not even on my buyer. Yeah. They're not my buyers. You know, like I get them to you because I know that you're.
We just worked with an agent 4 months ago. We put together a deal. We all accomplished the goal on one phone call.
Right.
It was incredible.
And just because they actually listened to me when we were doing the walkthrough on their second showing. And they said, yeah, let me talk to them, you know?
Yeah. And it worked.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it didn't hurt that you knew if you didn't answer your call.
Yes, we will.
I had your wife's number. I had your daughter's number, and I was going to get in touch with you some way
She'll find me.
or somehow.
She'll find me. Ronnie, what about you? I know that you're listing heavy, but I've done a lot of your buyers and your friends and family. All you guys.
All my friends and family.
Family, myself, multiple times.
Yeah.
That's actually the biggest compliment for me. When I can do a loan for your family or friend, that means that it's a great compliment that you trust me enough to do that and not hurt that relationship.
I think aside from the product and what you bring to the table in terms of your rates and everything else, it's just the fact that you want to see me win, right? Like from day one, before we were even friends, we were working together, open houses, and like giving me information, get me, and that's continued. Like we may not even be doing a deal with each other for a month or two, whatever the case may be. You call me, what's going on, man? How's it going? How's the family? It's like you care. And I'm not just saying that because we're on camera. Like, it's genuine. You always surprise me because you have so much going on, and you will reach out. And it's so you want to see me win, I think, and them as well. So that's the best part.
And like before, most of my business is listings. So I come to you and I'm like, can you review this for me, right?
You're doing stuff that is going to make you $0.
Right, $0.
It's not about that.
You're like, look, you need to ask
but
the
to
lender
most
this.
people it is.
Yeah.
I mean, look, going back to like when I first started, we had a different lender that our team was using, and that was all that I knew. You know, and we used to do like these birthday lunches, right? And that lender was always part of the lunch. And I kept trying to say, like, can we bring Joey in? Like, can we bring Joey in? And they didn't want to hurt that lender's feelings. And I was like, it's my birthday. I get to choose. I choose Joey. The other guy can go. And that was the first time that we got to like break that wall down.
Those birthday lunches were fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good times.
Yes, we did.
Those are a lot of good times. I guess the last question I'm going to leave you guys with is just, if today was your day of starting with no database, we have a lot of people that want to get into industry. No database, no, they got their license, right? How does that work? You get your license and there's people like coming at you right away, right?
Yeah.
There's like recruiting calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You get stuff in the mail.
Oh my God.
I've also heard, like, is it true that like at some of the schools, like the people are there, like the day you graduate, they're like, yo, call us. Like, really?
I mean,
wild.
they always say that real estate is one of the only industries that the moment that you get like your certification, everyone's coming to you for the job, like because they just want you to join their brokerage.
Right. Just want to buy.
Yeah.
So that first 30 days you come out, what was the one thing you'd say to a brand new agent to do in their first 30 days?
For me, again, like buyers are the best for me, right? Like buyer side, best side, but open house, right? Like I think that it's so underrated. It's so basic. And in the beginning, I was doing at least 6 a month, right? Like I was doing.
Well,
at
we
least
had
2 to 3.
We had to do like 3 to 6 a month.
But you find agents in your office who are too lazy to do opens because they're there, right? And you go and ask them, can I do open houses?
Or they don't believe in it.
Right. Can I do open houses at your listings? Like, let's show your sellers, blah, 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 right? Like, get yourself out there, meet the neighbors, meet the people that are out there, because that's the easiest way for you to meet consumers who are ready and thinking about purchasing. So for me, it's just getting in front of as many people in open houses is how you do that.
I'm going to just comment on that. If you think that this is a career for you, but yet on Saturday morning, you're dreading getting up and getting ready to go to the open house and you're not putting energy into it, then you picked the wrong job.
Yes.
Because the prep work that we do in open house, at least for me as a lender, I learn about the house as well so that I can help walk around the clients and tell them about the house.
Yeah.
I know what we have payments run for them. We know what the HOAs look like. We know how old the roof is, right? Yeah. Even though I'm not selling the house, I still need to know that. I'm not sitting there like a statue.
Let me say this, and I learned it from her grandmother. Don't just go to open house and know about the house. That's great. Know about the market in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Know what's active. Grandma taught me that. She said, bring all the actives. Show them. Oh, you don't like this one. Let's meet afterwards. Yep. We'll set this showing up.
Grandma was the best at getting the neighbors to list. Oh, you're thinking about selling? Let me walk over and see Joey. Watch this for a minute. Lock up for a second. And she would go walk over and see the houses right after the open. We'd stop for a minute and she'd go. And that's just amazing to me.
Grandma was the greatest.
Oh, yeah.
She
was in.
The queen.
We all learned so much from working with her.
Yes, 100%.
It was a you can't even.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I would say is, like, as a new agent, find a mentor. And when it's financially feasible, find a coach.
Right.
Like, that was the game changer for me. That was the game changer for me.
20 years to hire a coach.
Yeah. I mean, it was for me, like, it was like, I want to do 100 deals. I want to do 100 deals. I want to do 100 deals. But I wasn't acting like an agent who was doing 100 deals. I wasn't doing the activities of an agent who was. And until I hired a coach who was like, so do you really want to do this? Because if you do, we got to change some things, right? That was the game changer for me. And once I saw that, I was like, I know I want to be a coach and help people be able to do that. And so getting to do that now is, I love real estate, right? I don't get the same like high off of real estate as I did back in the day, but like coaching and getting to see that through other people, like that is what fills my cup.
You're getting old, girl.
Never as old as either of you. All three.
I am the dinosaur. I am the dinosaur.
We're aging better.
Yeah.
We're guys. We get to age better.
For me,
no.
You have to learn. I agree with Joe. For me, you have to learn the scripts, right? You have to learn how to talk to people. Most people don't come from a sales background. They get into real estate, right? So you got to learn. I would be one of the things, Eric, who's her cousin on our team, even though he came from real estate background, his mom was amazing, one of the best realtors ever. He came in and was there first before everybody got there. And I did the same thing when I joined the team. I made sure I got there. And the second Lori left, I might waited 5 minutes and left after her just to show her like I was committed, right? So I think people, they don't treat it like a job. You have to treat it from a job like day one. And first you have to learn before you can actually do something on the job. So you have to learn, just training like anything else. Go to as much training as possible. Start practicing the scripts, practice them, saying them out loud. What I tell people is say them to yourself on your phone, right? You have voice recorder. Read the script until you learn it so it doesn't sound like you're reading it. And you can even listen back to it while you're driving in the car. So you start to internalize it, right? And then it's memorized and you're able to like say it on the spot. Like all of us.
And now you can do it with AI.
And you could script practice with Chat GPT,
Yeah.
right?
Wild.
You know, so people have to treat it like a business. Don't get into it and think it's just magically going to happen. And it's still the basics, right? The only thing different now is like, okay, AI will make it a little bit easier. Social media will make you be able to get but you still have to know the basics.
Build an audience quicker.
Yes, but you have to know how to do it because you'll be exposed as a faker the second you try to show someone a property and you have no idea even how to use a lockbox, right? Trust me, one of the hardest things a realtor in the beginning is knowing how the hell to use a lockbox. It's not that
They got a little lockbox school for that.
They
got a
need
class.
to.
We
They
should
need
actually
to.
do one of the classes at one
Yeah.
of these events.
We should
right.
learn
How to
open
use a
a
Supra?
lockbox.
What the hell is a CBS code? People have no idea. Or
Yeah.
read the instructions on the like. I'm telling you, just read the instructions.
That
and
is
know
so
what to do.
funny. The lockbox thing is. I've been I've been before. Like we're trying to get the key, and they gave you the wrong code.
Yeah,
and, you're
and
out
then they
there
don't answer,
sweating,
and they don't
and
answer
you're
your
out there
phone.
sweating, you're like,
Oh,
really?
here another thing. Answer your phone.
Right.
You will be better than 100% of the realtors if you actually answer your phone.
Read, like, to me,
And
the
read,
first
learn to
is
read.
Read the MLS description.
Right.
What inch is the roof? It's
Right there.
it's angled
Right.
over. It's
Yes.
right there.
What are the taxes? It's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just that. I think honestly, you want to know what that becomes? That's laziness.
It's frustrating. Honestly,
That's-
for us,
there's no other word to that laziness.
Yeah.
You just don't want to take the time to read the description. So you rather, to me, I'd rather read it than pick up the phone and call and talk to somebody right off the bat. I don't know. I'm just a little.
Yeah.
This just needs to be harder.
it does. Or
Yeah.
people like you'll be working
I
with
agree with
someone,
that.
you'll be working with another realtor, and they'll be like, "Hey, just show the property for me." They've never been to the house, right? It's different. We built businesses, and we actually like. I was probably one of the first people that had a team within a team. Like that was unheard of. Syria started doing the showing agent model, right? So we were like people that started that down here. So maybe I'm not going, but someone from my team is going to be there. That's going to know all the information. I get these realtors that say, "Hey, I'm not going to be there." Are they the buyer gets there is like, "Oh, my agent's not showing up." That's why you have to actually interview who you're going to work with.
Yeah. What would you give that starter agent? What's their one piece of advice you like to give them?
Treat it like a profession. Be at the office. Be in your home office at 8, whatever the time is, and then lay your day out. For me, when I first started, I don't know. It took me a while to sell a house. I don't know what the time frame was, but make your calls and then furthermore educate yourself on everything. There's a million things you need to educate yourself on. And be professional. It's like even nowadays, unfortunately, we'll give agents opportunities to host open houses, go to inspections, go to showings,
And they don't want to do it.
and it's sometimes they're late, sometimes it's an issue. It's like no, treat it like you would if you're working for somebody else. If you work for Amazon, like Amazon wants you to go.
Yeah, you got to
work
whatever. You got to
on
clock in at 6 a.m. You got to be there at 6 a.m. 6:05 doesn't work.
That would be the biggest thing, and I think in the industry that's a frustration. It's the lack of answering phone calls,
Right.
it's
No call
the
back.
hardness,
Yeah.
or the lack of
Professionalism.
You know, when
Yeah.
it comes to that schedule thing, I tell people, I'm like, you work for yourself now. So why wouldn't you want to be on time for yourself?
Yeah.
Versus when you work for someone that you weren't working for yourself.
You gotta
were
be on
you were
time or you're gonna
all
get
the time,
fired.
and it wasn't
Right.
even benefiting you.
Right.
And I think you have to treat it like a business, even with our business, right? Lori, we were selling a lot of houses, but we were just playing realtors, right? That's what I always say. The second we learned actually it was a business, then our business went like this, right? And that's just, you have to treat it like a business and do it from day one, because the sooner you start, the faster you're going to catapult yourself.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, listen, guys, 15 years we've been working together. That just shows a lot of longevity. You guys are all in the same places, 15 years. I've been at the same place 15 years. It's been a great 15 years. We've grown friendships, real estate partnerships, clients together. It's been an amazing ride. I can't wait to see what happens in the next 15 years.
Joey, I had hair when we started. You're getting to that point where I don't know.
Man, I'm trying everything to hold
Yeah.
on to it. I'm hanging on with pills.
You're hanging.
I'm going to the doctor and I'm like, please, man, what can we do?
Listen, since we were professional this time, part 2 is all the X-rated stories.
All right, sounds good. We'll have to get an 18 and over thing.
Yeah.
Mature audience only. All right, man. Thank you guys so much for coming on show.
Absolutely.
It was great. Can't wait to see this first one come out.
That's right.
Yeah, all
We
right,
love
so
you.
And great.
You guys too.
Yeah.